All right, that was Migrant Worker with a Dead Bus, and we're back with Peter from Migrant Worker. Now, a lot of these song titles on the album have very interesting names, and they kind of jump around a bit. And just starting off with the Dead Bus, and another one, a Ghost on the Tennis Court. Now, was there like a certain theme to the album when you did it?
No, there is a story behind some of the song titles. Quite often, the songs start out, like most people's songs, they start out as just like a guitar riff, just a very, very small skeleton of a song. And some people, when they make music on computers, they may record some of that piece of music and give it some arbitrary title, like song number one. I prefer to actually give it a title that kind of strikes an image in my head. So I actually on my iPhone I have Evernote, and anytime I hear an interesting phrase, I write it down on Evernote. And anytime I start a new song, I take that song title. So Ghost in the Tennis Court is a line from a film called Sunset Boulevard, which is a film noir film from I think it's from like the late 40s. Excellent film, really, really cool film. I think also the end is written into the beginning is from that film as well. So that's quite a lot of song titles come from that. The Dead Bus, I haven't got a clue. I don't really remember. I know that Gary and I started that song completely afresh when we were sat together, and I think we might have used a random word generator, and it brought the two words Dead Bus together, and then we just made it Dead Bus. But I don't really remember anymore.
Well, that's cool. No, because like I said, I was looking at the titles, like, these are some interesting titles, and I just like I said, some of them kind of almost looked like they went together. So I was just curious because sometimes there's an underlying theme, sometimes it just kind of happened that way. So there's more or less a curiosity question than anything.
Yeah, it works. It works, and quite often the interesting song titles tend to create a theme for the lyrics of the song, but not always.
Yeah. Well, even like another one, Layered Unshaken Creep.
Yeah, I genuinely do not remember. That is the oldest song on the album. That's 4 or 5 years old, the basics of that song, and I don't remember anymore where that came from. But as I said before, something that we do quite a lot is when we're slightly stuck on lyrics, we use like random sentence generators and then kind of pick bits out of it, which kind of give us kind of very weird kind of sentences, and then over time we kind of refine the sentences so they kind of make a bit more sense. It's kind of a cut up kind of way of putting together lyrics, which we don't always employ, but sometimes we do.
That's actually very cool. I never would have guessed that in a million years. So definitely.
We didn't invent that.
Oh yeah. Well, I
think William S. Burroughs invented that.
Oh, well, I can see that. But I just never would have thought about that, and especially when I was listening to the lyrics, I never would have thought, well, these sentences seem like they're kind of chopped and put together. So, well done on that.
Well, quite often they start as completely nonsensical, and then over the course of a couple of months, we kind of swap words in and out, and then they start to make perfect sense, or as much sense as our lyrics ever make.
Well, it gives it a different of a bit of a different aspect, a different way of doing it, and it's like it's one of those things that it's just like changing up a couple guitar riffs or a couple drum loops or whatever it may be, like it's something else to do, but but once it's done, like the end product is worth it.
Definitely.
So how long have you and Gary like been doing this? You said about 7 years or so.
Yeah, we started playing in another band that had a variety of very, very bad titles, very, very bad names. Sorry, and it just doesn't work. I think we counted about a year ago. We counted that we'd auditioned 50 different drummers and 50 different bass players.
Wow.
And this was over maybe a 3 or 4 year period. And we just never found anybody that was really kind of had what we were looking for. I mean, both of us are quite easygoing. I absolutely want, and Gary's the same, I want somebody who will feed into the songs, who just doesn't want to be told what to do, who wants to have a voice in the band. And we just never found anybody that really had kind of either the level of musicianship we were looking for, or the commitment, or sometimes personalities clashed. So after maybe 3 or 4 years, I just decided to call it a day. And then soon after that, I made contact with Gary again, and I said, look, we were writing some really good stuff. Let's just do it. Let's just do it, the two of us. And that was about 3 years ago, and here we are.
Wow, it's it's really impressive, but that had to have been grueling, auditioning all those drummers and bassists, because
it really was. It's because I get no pleasure out of telling people that they're not really what I'm looking for, but at the same time, lots of them really didn't have the ability that we needed. So, and quite often you could tell immediately, as soon as somebody came into the practice room, that they were not going to cut it, but you still kind of have to go through the motions.
Right.
It's not easy.
Well, I couldn't imagine. I mean, but unfortunately, it's part of the business. You got to be able to take a knock on the chin once in a while, because you're not always going to hear the stuff you want, and that's just a matter of life for anything.
Oh, well, absolutely, but there's nothing nice about being horrible to people.
No. I'm not saying tear the person apart.
I understand.
It's one thing I'm saying, I'm sorry, thanks for trying out, but what we need, and instead of saying, I'm sorry, you really suck, so, you gotta be careful to which extreme you go to, so.
Oh, absolutely. Luckily, I've never had that experience yet.
Yeah, no, that's a good
but
thing.
It'll happen one day. I did play in a band, after the previous incarnation of Migrant Worker kind of died. I played in a band that I felt like the weak link in that band, and I feel like I'm quite a good guitar player, but I really felt like I was the worst musician in the band, which was strange after having kind of experiences of generally feeling slightly better than some of the other people around me. And it took a while to get comfortable playing in that band, because I felt talentless compared to my colleagues.
Well, fair enough. I mean, it's not good to feel that way, obviously, but I guess it happens, because.
Oh yeah.
But it's one of those things. At least for myself, even though it was it was really frustrating, because I do play guitar as well. But I always try to play with people who were a lot better than I was, so I could learn from them. And yeah, there were sometimes it was extremely frustrating, and it just makes you want to put the guitar down. It's like, that's it, I'm done.
Nerve-wracking.
That's right, because you want to be able to do what they can do. When you can't get it right away, it's frustrating. So
yeah, absolutely.
But I mean,
it's still fun.
Oh, absolutely. I mean that's what music's all about. It's about having fun, and you just gotta find what you like doing, and the sort of music that you're good at. I mean, if it sounds good, then go with it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that at all, and it comes out so nicely. I mean, there's been so much good music that's kind of popped up that way.
I mean, absolutely. Like, I'm a huge fan of. It might surprise you. I'm a huge fan of jazz. Like last night, I saw Wayne Shorter play in London. He's like 80 years old, a very, very famous jazz saxophonist. I love that style of music, but when I pick up a guitar, what comes out is rock music. Well, I like rock music too, of course, but that's what I play. That's just what comes naturally to me when I pick a guitar up.
Well, jazz is a bit of a harder style to play. I mean, I like jazz a lot too. I mean, I like people like John McLaughlin and Chick Corea, and there's
Chick Corea, yeah, I like Chick Corea.
And there's a really good they're not quite acid jazz, kind of, but they're still really good. Is Medeski, Martin, and Wood.
I don't think I've ever heard of them.
That's one band you should definitely check out. I'd strongly recommend them. And one of my favorite jazz guitarists is Charlie Hunter.
Charlie Hunter, yeah, I know Charlie Hunter.
So, and he's one of my favorites, if not my favorite. And what is awesome about him is he's really good friends with Les Claypool from Primus.
Oh yeah.
And Les Claypool released a solo album years ago, and there's a song they both played on. The song was called "Me and Chuck."
Right.
So, but yeah, liking jazz, I'm not really surprised, because honestly, you could tell there's a little bit of hint of it in the very opening to the Dead Bus.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
So that first kind of little opening riff, that's kind of what I kind of made me lean towards.
I think it's our favorite sound on the record.
But we're actually going to get to another one, and one that you remember more about is Ghost in the Tennis Court.
Excellent.
So stand by, and we'll be right back, and here's Ghost in the Tennis Court, Migrant Worker.